Hello, hello, and very good evening to all of you. I have just changed the link for this session. So, if you have joined the wrong link, please go into the group and join with the other link. I will just check whether the sound is clear or not. Then we will proceed. And this is an. Hello, and very good evening to all of you. I have just changed the link for this session. Okay. So, as I can see, I can clearly hear my voice. Okay. So, welcome back and very good evening. We have completed the first lecture. Okay, the first lecture and this one, both of them I will upload today only in the application, so that you will be able to watch it in the application, those who have joined. Now the thing is that this was actually the yesterday lecture, which I was not able to conduct because of some reason, but today we have conducting the second lecture. And there is one, I would say, the new thing is there from today's lecture. Okay, the thing is that, see, earlier whatever we format of these PowerPoint lectures we had, it was in the form of kind of this. Okay, plain colored slide and with the text involved in it. Okay, so there was no diagrams were there, though no images were there. Okay, as I have already told you, I was not doing it because of some possible copyright issue may come behind that lectures. Okay, but actually I have found a way. Okay, see, these things are these things of what we can say, we evolve or we make progress day by day, or we just progress in incremental manner. Okay, earlier I used to take that kind of lectures on these kind of plain kind of this slide on which the content is there. Okay, so although I used to talk with you, but there was no visual representation were there, right? But yes, obviously because of it, whatever the concentration ability is there, or the interacting capacity of those slides is there, that was minimum. Okay, but because of limitation of the time, I was not able to do it. Okay, because as you know, our first task of our UPSC ShivaSchool channel, the first task was to complete the notes. Okay, then the lectures, to work on the PowerPoint and all other things. Okay, the first task is to prepare the notes. Okay, so we have already completed almost now 80 to 85 or 80 to 85% of the notes. So that's why right now I got little bit of time. Okay, now I am utilizing that time to convert your slides into more interactive manner. Okay, or to give you a more presentable view to your slides. Okay, and whatever the diagrams or images I am using right now, I have found a way that even if we used it, okay, we won't be getting that kind of or that amount of copyright strikes. Okay, the reason is I am already using Microsoft 365 business category subscription. Okay, earlier there was no I was just using the Microsoft Office home and student package. Okay, so there lot of features are not there, but the day, okay, only 2 days before I have tried it. Okay, the Office 365, the business the subscription, with this, whatever the presentation way of this slides is there, it has just changed drastically. Okay, when if you try it on yourself, you will get to know that even if you suppose write earth here on your slide, okay, automatically the designer of that professional Microsoft Office 365 will give you the designed idea, the design slides along with the image of the earth also. Okay, so that kind of these what you can say, this technological advancement use the what you can say gave me some usefulness to create informative slides. Okay, not only that, there is also an options of inserting 3D models and images onto your slides. Okay, and this time even if you searched from the this whatever there are two options for inserting images. You can search the images which are already there in the 365 the office, or some of the images which are there on the online. Okay, but here even if you used, obviously the online images will be far more in number as compared to whatever the stock library this the Office 365 has, right? But even if you use the images from the online source, when you download it and transfer them to your or the transfer them to your PowerPoint, it automatically gets whatever the required citations are there for that images. It automatically acquires those citations also. Okay, so whenever you try to view it on the PowerPoint, immediately to the bottom of it you will have that link of licenses and all other things which are required. Okay, so see, basically we should respect each and everyone's copyrights, right? So they have done the hard work, so we are bound to cite their work. Okay, so that is what we have done. What is you will find this entire lecture, whatever the images are there, almost 99% have some citations below it. Okay, that this is sourced from that particular license. Okay, and you can click on that license and you can go and see these real images from which where I have this taken this image, right? But now from now on, because of this, the what you can say technologically upgradation of our class, see, obviously all the of these upgradations will cost something, right? I could not just use this at the first day of our class back there in 1.5 years ago. Okay, at that time I even didn't know about all of these. Okay, but see, ultimately that one stop solution kind of notes was our this aim. We have completed almost 80 to 85%. Now this is the second phase of our classes, that we are increasing what you can say the levels, or increasing the representativeness of whatever the PowerPoints which we have, right? So now with this we will stop we will start and you should also let me know that how do you like this format of the presentation. Okay, obviously this will take more time from my side. Okay, earlier I used to take suppose only 15 minutes to make slides. Right now it is almost sometimes getting 15 minutes per slide. Okay, so my task is getting difficult. Okay, but I want your task to be simplified. Okay, immediately when I've showed this to one of my students, he is immediately replied back, yes sir, this is the, I think, most interactive, one of the most interactive format for zoology till now. Okay, whatever the lectures he has attended, and now he is wondering that, sir, whenever or when it will be possible to have all the or this format of lectures of chordata and non-chordata. Okay, so the demand has already started, right? So don't worry, once we have finished, now whatever the remaining 3 chapters are there, they will be in this format only, in more interactive format with the images and all. And whatever the other chapters are there, I am also going to update that also, because whatever the subsequent batches are there, in that I am going to re-record this session. Okay, so don't worry. Now let's see how this new format of lectures this perform well or not. Okay, but just for a minute I will look in the group whether there are any queries are there or not. Okay, so no queries are there, so we can directly move on, right? So yesterday we have seen some part of biosphere. Right now what we are going to see is the energy sources of this biosphere. Okay, so whatever all of these things from where this biosphere takes the energy. Okay, that is what it is. Now, so first one is the solar radiation. Okay, see what we are seeing, we are seeing the point which is called as concept of biosphere. Okay, as such there is no a particular point where it is mentioned in the book that this is the one concept of biosphere. Okay, so when we want to explain the concept of biosphere, means we are explaining almost everything that is there in short. Okay, everything which is there in short we are explaining in this note or in this concept of biosphere point. Okay, so out of it, the third point is the energy sources from whatever the biosphere we are seeing. From where does it get the energy? Okay, first one is the obvious, the solar radiations. Okay, from this sun the solar radiations will come. Okay, as we know, the plants will synthesize food from it, right? From that food, obviously some part of it will go to the animals also directly. Okay, or sometimes that food which is in the form of, maybe in the form of fruits or leaves, which will be synthesized by that plants, ultimately it will be eaten by this herbivore, and that herbivore will be again the predator or eaten by another carnivore. Okay, so ultimately biosphere, even it may be a carnivorous or herbivorous, so ultimately the energy is coming from the sun only, right? So that's why we say animals and plants are dependent on this solar energy, right? Next one is the earth's heat. Okay, so whatever the radiations or the heat which is coming from the these what you can say the core and the mantle of the earth, right? See, this is obviously the direct source of the heat and radiation, okay, for us. But even if we look at these submerged trenches, okay, in the sea, Okay, suppose this is a part of scene, there is a submerged trench is there, and from here the lava is coming out, right? For example, so whatever the biota is there, or whatever the biotic life which is around this area is there. Okay, so remember this is an sea, and to the bottom of the sea, this is what you can say, active volcanoes may be there which are submerged, right? So now when we study the biotic life around this particular trench or around this particular line of volcanoes, we will find somewhat difference as compared to the other part where there are no radiation sources are there from this earth heat, right? Other parts of whatever the aquatic life is there, most of them will get the energy from the solar radiation only, okay, in the photic zone. Okay, even if there is no solar radiation is there in the aphotic zone, but still the radiation or energy will reach to those zones in some other way. Okay, that we are going to see in other parts of the lecture. Okay, right now we will just going to see that how the earth's heat is also the source of radiation, right? So this is where the earth's heat is becoming a source of radiation for the biosphere, because it whatever this biotic life is there at this location, this heat which is coming from here, it is affecting that particular biotic life around it. Okay, whatever these plants are there, okay, maybe some of the animals may be there, fishes may be there, right? So that's why in the deep oceans, near the depths where the sunlight cannot reach, the energy from these sources of the earth's heat is going to help, right? So these are the two sources of energy for the aquatic life. Now the next point is the division of the biosphere. Okay, see, whatever the biosphere we are talking about, okay, we have already seen that it is almost having three important parts along with the whatever this life which is there in all of these, okay, animal or plant life, right? So basically if we want to define, we have already seen that is the narrow area where this life is exists along with the other parts of like the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, right? So here we can see this is the part of what? Hydrosphere. Okay, this is the part of what? Lithosphere. Okay, and surrounding it here there is also what? Atmosphere is also there, right? And wherever it is combining at particular location, the life is there, right? So that's why we can also view entire earth as a biosphere also, okay, because we know that life is also here, even in the water, even on the land, life is there, right? So we can view the entire earth as a biosphere also, right? But basically what the biosphere will be, not the every part of the earth, there are also some parts of the earth are also there which are entirely barren or no life is there. Okay, so the parts are like this where the hydrosphere is also interacting, the atmosphere is also there, the lithosphere is also there, and there this form of life is there. Okay, so this is what we refer as an the biosphere, basically at a smaller scale. Okay, biosphere is a part of this lithosphere, a narrow zone where the lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, all of them will combine and they interact, and there will be a formation of what? This life will be there. Okay, here the life is plant, right? So these are the divisions of the biosphere. Okay, now whatever the divisions of biosphere are there, like this lithosphere, basically the rocks. Okay, hydrosphere basically water, atmosphere means air which is surrounding, and the biota or the biotic life which is present in the sphere. Okay, so these are the basic divisions of the biosphere is there. Okay, today we are going to complete about this lithosphere and hydrosphere. Okay, see, if I would have decided to take the lectures in the old format of just giving you the content and giving the slides, okay, it could have made my task easier. Okay, we could have finished the course much earlier. But see, whenever something good or something informative come across me, okay, I just cannot leave this part aside, okay, just to finish our course. Okay, बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि I know, okay, many times it happens that I know because of these things the course will also extend, and even the entire time which will be required for that course will increase. Okay, but still I do it. Why? Because I only feel that it is pretty much required and it will ultimately help students. Okay, so that's why this is again the same kind of thing. Okay, I know by doing by giving you such kind of slides, okay, one thing which will happen is that much of the time of my this entire notes making part, okay, it will also go for making such slides. Okay, but still we will say that this, as this is the one time task only, okay, and our ultimate aim is to make this only the perfect or one and this topmost class for the zoology. Okay, so for that we need to do this thing. Okay, I cannot just skip these things just to finish our course earlier. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the lithosphere. Okay, earlier format would have taken only these 10-15 slides for this lecture and the lecture would have been over. Okay, but again the overall understanding will be minimum of the students. Okay, I know that is the thing. See, earlier I could not do it because I already had a very least time for that making notes. Okay, but right now I can afford, so I will not leave this. Okay, I will make the every lecture slides this much informative, right? So the usefulness of this kind of lectures will be more interactive. Okay, whenever you see the diagrams and all pictures, okay, you don't what you can say, go to sleep easily, right? You always try to look at these different diagrams, what is it and what is not, right? So let's see the lithosphere, the first part, which we are going to see in the details along with the continents which are there in the lithosphere. So even if the diagrams which you can see, this is the basic division. Okay, we don't need to draw it in your diagram because basically we are going to explain the different continents in the lithosphere. But just for an this what you can explanation, this is the crust. Okay, then the below part, whatever is there, that is the upper solid mantle, the asthenosphere is there. Okay, but we are interested in this part only. Okay, lithosphere, the upper, the crust and the upper mantle. Okay, not the other part, right? So this is the lithosphere which we are interested, not this part. Asthenosphere ka ye jo part hai, we are not interested in that part. Okay, only this part, hard part of this the crust, right? Because that is going to support the life na? Obviously the life is not going to be supported by the asthenosphere here, yahan par. Right now we can say it, who knows, there are maybe some thermophilic bacteria or some different form of entirely different form of life, maybe they are at here only, even in the core, who knows. Okay, we cannot ultimately be sure until and unless it is investigated. Okay, so till now we can say there is no life, okay, because of the high temperatures, right? So whatever the lithosphere is, okay, so lithosphere, it is going to have the two important parts. Okay, the rocks and whatever the soil which is going to be formed because of it. Okay, so this is the basic two form these the parts or forms of this lithosphere is there, hard rock and the soil because of it. Now again soil is again classified, the rock is again classified. Okay, so, but these are the two basic parts, right? What I have observed is, because of these using different colored slides, the one of the, I don't think that is a problem, but there is a change in shades of my face and other parts is there. Okay, so for now I think there is no problem, but let's see if something can be done by changing the color of my t-shirt, then I think there may be some of these whatever this lighting problem is there, that may be avoided. Okay, because right now this dark background and my white background t-shirt is creating somewhat this what you can say, the light interference. Okay, next time I will use a darker one, so at that time we will see. Okay, but I don't think there is any difficulty in reading these slides is there. Okay, here you are finding it white because it is already a white part. Okay, so I should have shifted that part to somewhere else. Okay, so let's see. Whatever the earth's surface is there, okay, which is the part of the lithosphere, it is divided into main two parts, the continents and whatever the interconnecting part is there, that is the ocean basins. Okay, so that is what we know. So this is the continent, okay, the African continent, and the ocean basin means what, whatever these oceans are there now here, the basins means what, those basins which are having these oceans onto them. Okay, so these are the two parts only na. What can be the next other parts? Okay, either there will be the land or either there will be the land below the water. Okay, so the land below the water, that is what, the sea floor. Okay, or the ocean basin, and the other part is the whatever these continents are there, right? So for general, okay, that is the one of the highest mountain peak is like the Mount Everest, the greatest depth is Mariana Trench. Okay, and whatever the landmass distribution is there, most of the continents are there. Most of them are in the northern side. Okay, we already know these are the general points, right? Next is, now we are going to see all of these 7 continents are there with somewhat detail only. Okay, see, I have taken it most of the point from the NCERT only. Why? Because as such there wasn't any detailed notes was there. Okay, we only have a 10 marker note on this division of biosphere only for once. Okay, so we can definitely use the parts which were there in the NCERTs. Okay, so the continents, that is the first one is the Asia. Okay, not only NCERT, I have added some more points to it. Okay, so that it will be somewhat more informative. Okay, but this was already a kind of a concept or basic kind of question, so we can definitely use it. Okay, for other parts we cannot rely on it NCERT, because many times the points are not even mentioned in the NCERT. Okay, only the NCERT will help you only 10 to 20% for the UPSC zoology only. Okay, not more than. Okay, at many occasions there is only 0% content is there in the NCERT, right? So let's see the first continent, that is the Asia. We are studying these continents this according to the size. Okay, so even if you remember this sequence of studying all of these continents in the exam, at that time also you should remember that yes, what I have taught, or which was the first continent I have drawn. Okay, at the end I will give you what all of these continents one by one below it. Okay, then you should just paste that paper in your room. Okay, and you just look at all of them. Okay, that the first one is the Asia, then which is the second, third, fourth, fifth, 7 and 6. Okay, you should just look at that diagram only. In that way only you can just write also in front of it the area. Okay, see, ultimately these things will help you in where GS. Okay, in zoology we will not have that amount of help, but still we can add it. Okay, if you want to add here exact area of those the continents, then you can add. Okay, but now let's study these continents. I have divided this in almost 4 parts. Each of the continent is divided into 4 parts. Okay, so that it will be easier for you to remember these. Okay, remember we are not about to study these in detail. Okay, we are studying zoology, not the geography, right? The first part is the size. Okay, this is the largest one, right? And almost whatever the total land area is, it is almost the 1/3 of the total land area is there, right? If you want to give the location of it, then it is on the eastern hemisphere. Suppose this is the earth, then on eastern, western, southern and northern, right? So basically it is refer in this refer. Okay, you will say, sir, there are only northern and southern hemispheres are there. What is this eastern or western are there? Okay, the earth is continuously revolving, so how could it be fixed? Okay, for understanding in a cartography, in this map it has given some this location, that okay, it is considered as a part of this here only. Okay, so that's why it is given in the form of this map which we study. In that map you must have studied that it is on this side, so that's why it is said that it is on this these eastern hemisphere. Okay, east, west, south, north. Okay, so that's why it is said eastern. So the location is giving in the eastern hemisphere. Okay, and as we know, the Tropic of Cancer passes through it. Okay, so that is what the location of the earth is there. Not of the earth, of the Asia continent. Then there are, what are the land boundaries are there? Okay, the land boundaries, if we can see, you can clearly see that there are the Ural mountains are there, which are separating it from the Europe. Okay, here the Europe will be there, na? So the Ural mountains will separate that Asia from this Europe. Okay, obviously you can add some more point under the land boundaries, but as I have told you, we are already studying a point which has not directly asked. Okay, so we are just giving information of all of these in very short. Okay, so let's see. The main question was division of the biosphere, that is the lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and the other parts on the the life which was there in all of these, right? So under that we are studying lithosphere. Then lithosphere will be studied in these different, that it has different continents into it. Okay, some other parts, right? So this was the first continent, and some of the specific features about it. Okay, that the highest mountain in this area, like this Mount Elbrus is there. Okay, and the other part is like the whatever these Siberian regions of the Russia is there, it is having the Arctic climate is there. Okay, so everywhere there is the snow is there, right? So the climate is similar to the Arctic area, right? So this is the first continent, the Asia. Okay, next one is the Europe. Okay, so it is comparatively smaller than the Asia, right? So the location is, as we know, it is located on the northern side. Okay, the land boundaries we can see give in the same point, that is the Ural mountains, and the specific features. There are obviously many features are there, but some of them like these Kazakhstan is one of the largest landlocked country is there. Okay, highest peak in this area is the Mount Blanc. Okay, so these are the some of the parts. Most of you already know about these because you have studied this in general studies. Okay, so basic general points are there. Okay, this is the diagram for the Europe. Okay, next one is the Africa. Okay, which is the second largest continent. Okay, Africa जो है वो second largest continent है. So one of the location, if you see that the equator is going almost through the middle of this continent, right? And most of its landmass is there in the northern hemisphere is there. Okay, you can see the most landmass is there in the northern hemisphere side. Okay, and again the specific feature of this continent is again what? This equator, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. All of these three passes through this continent. This is one of the specific feature we can see of this continent. Okay, if you see about the land boundaries, then we know that the Egypt which is there. Okay, this Egypt is going to connect it with the Middle East countries. Okay, and rest from all these sides it is having all of these oceans and seas. Okay, so that is what the Africa is there. Okay, see, as we are studying zoology, but we have never studied this in detail. Okay, although this is a part of more which we will cover more detail in this geography, but at least we need to have some idea while studying the ecology. So that's why this is the simplest and what we can say the shortest explanation of all of these continents is there. Okay, basically it will help you to study the further parts of the ecology. Okay, because you need to have an idea about what are the different these continents are there, what are the different oceans are there, right? Now the next is the North America. Okay, this is the third largest. Okay, so this is the map we can say of the North America. Location, as we know, it is completely in the northern and the western side, western hemisphere. So if we say about the land boundaries, then whatever this South America is there, okay, it is connected here through this Isthmus of Panama. Okay, whatever the Isthmus of Panama is there, it is going to connect it with the South America, right? And some of the specific features are what? World's largest island, which is Greenland, it is also considered in this the northern North America only. Okay, biggest lake is also here only, that is the Lake Superior. Okay, so this is the fourth continent, which is the third largest. Next is the South America, right? So this is the diagram of the South America. Okay, this is the fourth largest one. Okay, it is South America. So by the name itself, you should come to know that it is mostly located in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so that is why that is how we are giving the location of it. Okay, that is in the southern hemisphere. If we see about the land boundaries, as we already know, the Isthmus of Panama connects it with the North America, and from other sides it is surrounded by the oceans and sea, right? Some of the specific feature points are like the longest mountain range, that is the Andes. Okay, the Andes, whatever this Angel waterfall is there. Okay, or even the Atacama desert is there. So all of these parts are what? This is the part of Atacama desert and a part of what? This Andes mountain ranges are there. Okay, so all of these three, All of these three are what we can say the one of the specific feature of the South America. Okay, so you can just visualize some of these images. Okay, not every time it will be the same. Okay, sometimes it is representative also. If I don't found the exact diagram, obviously you are not going to draw this image, na? Okay, so if it is waterfall, I can use any waterfall also. Okay, but this is the waterfall which I have already got, so you can just remember these images. Okay, now these are the specific features of the South America. Okay, now next continent is the sixth continent is the Australia. Okay, the one of the what you can say the specific feature is that most of its land, central land, is almost uninhabitable, or whatever the inhabitable land is there of this continent, it is the coastal area only. Okay, here it is almost uninhabitable, right? Size, it is the smallest continent. Okay, it is also smallest, so it is the smallest country also, so smallest continental country also. Okay, that means what, a country which is also a continent. Okay, that is the Australia. Boundaries are, as we know, it is entirely a country, and it is surrounded by from all sides from the ocean, so no land boundaries with the any other country directly. Okay, and it is located entirely in the southern hemisphere, right? So these are the some of the diagrams. Okay, the oceans, this coastal part of it, right, and some of the arid or the uninhabitable part of it, that the Australian region continent. The last part is the Antarctica. Okay, this is the last continent, that is the last part of lithosphere, that is the Antarctica. Okay, so Antarctica is again uninhabitable, almost uninhabitable, because whatever the habitations is there. Okay, only the research stations are there in the Antarctica. Okay, you can as such, you cannot live there because of the, it is almost covered with the ice every throughout the year, right? And it is the fifth largest one, right? So in the southern hemisphere it is located, as it is the almost surrounding the entire the continent. There is this, the southern ocean is also there, right? It will also have this south pole into it. Okay, the boundaries, it is, as we have seen, surrounded by the oceans and seas from the all of these slides. Okay, so the southern ocean is surrounding this, right? Some of the specific features are that it is, as it is permanently covered with the thick ice, so that's why it is not habitable for most of the year. Okay, not only that, because of that only there are no permanent human settlements are there. So mostly it is a scientific this backyard only, okay, where the most of the countries will have their scientific labs at there. Okay, we also have Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri scientific labs here. Okay, that is the Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Okay, this is the diagram for, I think, Maitri. Okay, the image of, I think, Maitri, right? So this is about the Antarctica, right? Now this is somewhat introduction part about the lithosphere. Okay, we can add some more point about the lithosphere also. Okay, but for now it's okay, right? Now we can go for the hydrosphere, because we are already going to study the ecology. No? So some of the parts which we are going to study in future or in upcoming lectures can also be added under the lithosphere. Okay, we will see at that time. Okay, but right now we will complete this lithosphere, because already we have not started the actual part of any of this question. Okay, because this was only a generalized question, division of the lithosphere, right? Division of the biosphere. Okay, so lithosphere was one of the part, right? So we have given some part of the lithosphere. Now we will study the hydrosphere. Okay, now the hydrosphere is basically the water content, right? So the entire earth is there. Okay, so that earth, whatever the water is there, no? It is almost having 70% of water, and whatever the remaining part is there, it is having the land on 29% only. Otherwise, whatever the surface of the earth is there, almost 71% of it is covered with the water. Okay, so you can see whatever this earth is there, most of part of this earth surface is covered by water. Okay, only whatever the 29% is there, it is covered by these different continents or land, right? So whatever this water is there, what 70%, 71% of water is there. Okay, so you should say that as we are having 71% of water is there, so we should not have any kind of water shortage at any time. Okay, but as we know that we do have water shortage, okay, in many locations we do have the water shortage. Okay, so why is it so? Okay, so obvious, this is the obvious reason. You have already studied in this NCRTs that out of the 71% water, or whatever, out of whatever the amount of water which is there on the earth, almost 97% is there in the oceans, and it is salty, oceans and seas, and it is salty water, so we cannot consume it, right? Although we can process it and make it these drinkable, but that is a different part, right? So 97% of water is salty water, which is difficult to consume, right? Remaining whatever the 3% of water is there, out of that, again, much of the water is available in the form of glaciers also. Okay, some of that water is again the underground water also. Okay, so because of that, even out of the 3%, we have very least amount of fresh water which is suitable for consumption, or we can say as an sweet water, okay, or drinkable water. That is a very minute amount, okay, because even that 3% water is again will be present in these different forms. All right, the glaciers, okay, the underground running water. Okay, so this was what the basic idea about the hydrosphere was there. Okay, now we will see about the, as we have seen in detail, the continents. I will say in detail because that is what is required, not more than that, right? Because we are not going to study the geography. I'm not going to start teaching you the geography, right? What was the required, whatever the required this point was there, just to have an idea about all the continents and the ocean, that I have already given you. Okay, about the continent. Now we'll see about the oceans. Okay, obviously we won't be able to study the seas, number of seas, because there are at least 30 to 40 seas are there. Okay, and also it will be covered in your geography. Okay, so we are not going to cover that here. Okay, but we can cover the oceans, because as we know, these are limited in number only, right? So let's study the oceans, right? The first thing is that whatever the oceans are there, they are interconnected. Okay, so it is not like that one ocean is going to be cut and the another ocean is going to have entirely different boundary. Okay, it is, the water is divided into oceans. It is not going to happen. It is not the case. The ocean water are already all connected, right? So whatever this ocean water is there, it is moving with the various forces like the tides. It may be the oceanic currents are there, or maybe the waves are there, right? If we see the average depth of these oceans, okay, whatever, suppose this is the continental crust, then whatever the depth, the average depth of this ocean is there, it is almost 4,000 to 15,000 feet. Okay, some of these oceans are much deeper than this also, but this is the average depth, 4,000 to 15,000 feet, right? And these are the, also in this hydrosphere only we can see the different layers, okay, of this hydrosphere, like this, the photic zone. Okay, so here the sunlight can easily reach. Okay, so here, then these are the aphotic zone, where the sunlight will find it very difficult to reach, right? So at these different levels, different biotic life is there. Okay, right now we don't know, right now we are not studying, but we are going to study this in upcoming lecture, right? That what are the different forms of life are there in the photic region and aphotic region, right? But this is the division of these different, what you can say, the levels of the hydrosphere is there. That is the epigalactic photic region. Then this mesopelagic is there, from 200 meter to almost like this 2000 meter, right? So here again it is divided into the bathypelagic. This again divided into the abyssopelagic. Okay, the depth greater than 6,000 is what? The hadal pelagic, right? So these are the different division. This dividation is there. Okay, you must have already studied in your geography and GS preparation, right? Now one by one we will see all of this, whatever the oceans are there. So whatever the 5 major oceans are there, we are going to study that only. Okay, and earlier at the continent, at the time of studying continents, my order of studying the teaching then was somewhat different, because I think I have made some mistake while this making this slide. Okay, but now these oceans are now given in the 1 2 3 4 5 order, which is decreasing order of their area, right? So the large size, okay, so the largest of these ocean is the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so it is almost the circular, okay, almost circular in size, the shape, okay, and the size is around the 1/3 of the entire whatever the earth surface is there. Okay, so the boundaries, geographical boundaries means what, which are the continents or other oceans are they surrounding it. So as we know, it has Asia, Australia, North and South America to it. Okay, so this is the South America, the North America, this is the Australia, this is the Asia, right? So this is simpler. You can also add here Antarctica. Okay, so these are as much as point we can add, we can add. Okay, that is up to us. Okay, and last bit, some of the specific feature is that it has the Mariana Trench. Okay, so in this only, here you can see here the Mariana Trench is there. Okay, here the Mariana Trench is there. So what is happening this Mariana Trench, whatever this Pacific plate is there, okay, and whatever this Indo-Australian plate is there, okay, so the Pacific plate is getting submerged, okay, into below this plate. Okay, so what is happening here, the trench is developing here. Okay, so that is why this trench has developed here, Mariana Trench. Okay, so now because of it, then again there will be eruptions of lava and other things may be there, okay, surrounding it. So it will be a this what you can say, the seismically the active area will be there. Okay, because these two plates are getting this collided over there, right? In plate tectonics, in the tectonic movements, it will be much what you can say, easier to study all of these things in the geography. So this is basically what is happening in their Mariana Trench. Okay, Mariana Trench. So this is one of the specific feature which is located in this Pacific Ocean. Okay, next ocean according to size is the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so if we see, the Atlantic Ocean is roughly S in shape. Okay, the second largest. Okay, the geographical boundaries, as we can clearly see from that image itself, that it is having North and South America on one side, and on west side there are Europe and Africa are there. On east, sorry, on west this is North and South is there. On east side this is what, Europe and Africa are there, right? So some of the specific features are what, that it is having the coastline, okay, which is highly indented. Okay, you can see highly indented coastline. Now this indented coastline will help for the formation of different ports. Okay, so that's why this area will be very commercially, it will be very highly it will have very high traffic of the commercial vehicles. Okay, so economically it is very important. That's why, because of whatever these indented coastlines are there, they provide a perfect ground for the coast. Okay, for formation of the coast and formation of shipping yards, right? So port अच्छे बन सकते हैं, because of that reason it is commercially very active. Okay, so that was the second ocean. The third ocean is the Indian Ocean. Okay, I should have changed the color to somewhat different so that it will be more visible. Okay, but still I know it is visible, Indian Ocean. So this is the Indian Ocean, as we know. Okay, roughly it is again circular only, right? And the third largest, if you see the this according to size, is the third largest. Okay, consider as it is triangular also. Okay, roughly triangular. Okay, we cannot exactly give the these terms, but as it was given, it is roughly triangular, not the circular. Okay, geographical boundaries, as we already know from here. Okay, which are here, the Asia is there, Africa is there, right? Then at the bottom there are, what should be there, Australia must be there, right? So these are the boundaries of this Indian Ocean. Okay, this is the Australia, right? Sorry, this is the Antarctica, Australia, Asia, and this is the Africa. Okay, so these are the boundaries. Specific feature, we can add many of them, but one of the specific feature is that it is the only ocean which is named after country, India. You can we can add some more features also. Okay, the fourth ocean is the Southern Ocean. Okay, So this is the Southern Ocean, roughly circular, and it is surrounding the entire Antarctic, right? It is the fourth largest, right? And the specific feature is that, as most of part of it, as we have already seen, it is uninhabitable and covered with the ice for most of the time of that entire year. So that's why the commercial traffic will be least. Okay, we can add some more point also, but I suppose that with this much of points will only be sufficient. So that's why only 3 or 4 points are given. Okay, and the last ocean, which is the fifth, is the Arctic Ocean. Okay, so this, whatever this Arctic Oceans is there. Okay, so these are the diagram are giving actually the diagram of the Bering Sea, not the Arctic Ocean. So it is on the Arctic side, right? So this is the Bering Strait, which is going to connect that Arctic Oceans to this. Okay, Atlantic. So circular, fifth largest, whatever this northern coast is there. Okay, North America and Eurasia is there on this northern side. Okay, and it entirely surrounds the North Pole into this. Okay, so whatever this Bering Strait is there, this Bering Strait connects it with the Pacific Ocean. Okay, Pacific Ocean को Bering Strait connect करती है. So that's why these diagrams are there. Okay, diagrams को connect. I should have shown the diagram of Arctic Ocean. Okay, but let's see, we'll correct that in the next this slide. Commercial traffic is again here low because most of part will be the ice, the covered by the snow only, right? Now the remaining 2 parts, the major seas and some of the major rivers of the earth. Okay, so here we don't need to give much idea, but I just wanted you to have some of the ideas about the seas. Okay, so these are the some of the major seas. You can enlist only 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 only, right? Like this, whatever this the Caribbean Sea is there. Okay, whatever this Mediterranean Sea is there. Okay, this Labrador Sea is there. Okay, the Arabian Sea is there. Bay of Bengal is there. South China Sea is there. Okay, so we can mention any of these. Okay, 4 or 5, because this is not as such in one of the important point in this syllabus which we should study. So that's why I have not given you in detail. Okay, types of seas and all examples of seas. Okay, so these are some of the major seas of the world, and last, some of the rivers of the world. So these are some of the major rivers in the South America, and these are some of the river in the Indian subcontinent. So out of it, one of the name we can say that is the this Ganges, and here it is the Amazon, right? So these are some of the rivers of the world. You can give some more examples also, Yangtze River and all other, okay, which we already studied in the geography, in the GS preparation, right? So this is some of the points about the lithosphere and the hydrosphere. Okay, so this is just the generalized introductory points are only going, right? The actual part of ecology we have not yet started, okay, because this is just basic preparation part is there, right? So actually also I was planned to take the first of the free basics of biology lecture, but as this was the again the free lectures which I have already conducted, so basics of biology lecture, free lecture of the basics of biology series will come tomorrow. Okay, do let me know that whether you have liked this format of the lectures, okay, or it is at least helping or at least increasing at least 1% of your concentration to the entire lectures. Okay, because most of the students are going to watch these lectures as a recorded format. Okay, so at that time this kind of representation will definitely help. Okay, different diagrams and images. Okay, so here we will stop our lecture. We will meet tomorrow at our same time. Okay, but this time the link will be shared only with those students who have subscribed to the courses. So till then, have a great day.